Indie Mogul.
This week on Indie News, an epic price drop on Red cameras, Disney's purchase of the Star Wars franchise, 10 ways to smash your pumpkin, a DIY car mount for your camera, behind the scenes with the Indie Machines, and my top 10 tips for making amateur video look professional by faking it. Hey Indie Mogulers, Griffin here with great news if you're in the market for a professional Red camera. This week, Red Digital Cinema announced significant price drops. Their $35,000 camera, the Red Epic, drops to just $19,000. And the Red Scarlet, which also shoots 5K video, drops from $10,000 to $8,000. But perhaps the best deal is the Red One, which used to run $25,000, but the company is selling a limited number of used models for just $4,000. If this news has you ready to buy, just remember these are just camera brains. They still need several accessories to be built into fully functional cameras. It's still a little bit out of my price range for the kind of projects I'm working on, but this is great news for all filmmakers. It means that other cameras will have to drop in price to stay competitive, and high-resolution video will continue to trickle down to cheaper models. Also this week, Disney bought Lucasfilm and the Star Wars franchise for $4 billion, announcing that Episode 7 of the classic saga will hit theaters in 2015. After that, Episodes 8, 9, and possibly some TV shows as well. So as a Star Wars fan, this has me really excited for the possibilities, but also a little bit nervous that they could destroy this beloved story. So why, Disney, did you re-release this video to honor the news? Sure, it may sell more Disneyland tickets, but it definitely sends the wrong message, that you don't take Star Wars seriously. Now that Halloween is over, except for our friends in New Jersey who are celebrating it today, the question is, what do we do with our old pumpkins? Thrash Lab shares their 10 ways to smash a pumpkin using the new Phantom Miro to capture super slow motion. This week, awesome director Tom Antos shows us how to build a wooden car mount, which is perfect for getting these kind of shots from outside the vehicle. That's a lot more cinematic than the distorted images you usually get when shooting from inside the car. Another cool video this week features behind-the-scenes footage from the Indie Machines and some cool effects from their Action Testers promos. This week, an indie moguler named Paul asked how to make amateur video look more professional. And I usually just say there's no magic to it, just be as professional as you can. Use the techniques that I preach on this show. Stabilize your footage, try to get as much good light as you can in your scenes, capture clean audio near your actors. But I also recognize that many filmmakers may not have all of the ideal professional gear that you might want. So on today's show, I'm going to share my top 10 tricks for faking it. Taking bad video and making it work. Trick number 1, light. Simply having good light is often the difference between amateur and professional looking video. You can buy clamp lights or work lights at a hardware store, or build your own powerful light like I did. But if you don't have decent lighting, trick number 2 is use the sun. It's free. And maybe you want to shoot during what photographers call the golden hour, the hour right after sunrise or right before sunset, when shadows are softened. And if you find yourself with shadows you don't want, find something white or reflective to bounce the light. But assuming you didn't have good light, trick number 3 is knowing how to use color correction to salvage a dark shot. Start by lifting the highlights, but if there's too much contrast, try raising the midtones. You'll notice this washes out the image, but if you drop the shadows and raise the color saturation a little, it's a usable shot. Sure, there's some noise grain, but that's just what happens when you shoot dark video. Also, if your white balance was off while shooting, you should be able to boost your blue or yellow to somewhat correct it. And if you just can't seem to get the colors right, maybe just go black and white. Trick number 4. If you don't have a tripod, maybe use a 1/4-inch screw and a string for DIY stabilization. Trick number 5. If you end up with shaky footage, try a stabilization effect. You might be surprised how well it works. Or try slowing down the footage, which often makes it look more fluid. If you're shooting an interview or a web show like this, trick number 6 is handy. shoot in the highest resolution you can. If I shoot in 1080 but edit in 720, instead of getting jump cuts like this, I can zoom in the footage and cover up my edits, making it look like I'm shooting with two cameras. Trick number 7. If you don't have a prime lens, sometimes it's hard to capture shallow depth of field. But with many zoom lenses, if you back up and zoom all the way in, you'll find it's easier to blur your background or accomplish rack focus. But if you're too far away from your subject and only have an on-camera mic, you won't get good audio. Trick number 8 is to shoot as close as possible. If your actors can deliver their lines the same way each time, you can match up the close-up audio with wider shots. If your audio is distant and quiet, there is a chance that you can save it. Trick number 9 is to boost the volume, which unfortunately will introduce noise. But many audio and video editing programs have noise filters, which can help you identify the noise and remove it. If that doesn't work, trick number 10 is your last option. ADR, as it's called in the filmmaking industry, is the re-recording of dialogue. It happens a lot in movies, and you can do it too. Let your actor hear the original take. Let your actor hear the original take. And then try to match up the audio in a better recording environment. It's a slow process though, so always try to get better audio in the field if you can. So those are my top 10 tricks for faking good video. Just please don't tell anyone that this came from me. It's much better to be professional. Plan your shoot, round up the necessary gear, and make sure it looks right the first time. But as a backup, it's nice to have these tricks up your sleeve. On today's playlist, I have 10 ways to smash a pumpkin, the DIY car mount from Tom Antos, behind the scenes with the Indie Machines, and this Darth Vader at Disneyland video. Let me know in the comments if you think it was funny for Disney to re-release the video this week, or if it makes it look like they just don't take Star Wars seriously enough. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again this Wednesday when we'll find out if Russell in New Jersey was able to get power back and join us for the live show. See you then.